resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is the TinMan with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. And welcome to TinMan TV.
And as always, this is TinMan. Why? That it is
Can anybody hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, so having a little technical difficulties there, but yes, I am the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. You are watching TinMan TV, and apparently I don't know how to run a mixer. Oh, shit. Fun times, fun times. Party never stops here at the Worldwide Resistance Network. Now does it? But getting back to everything, getting back on focus. We are not funded by Myth Monster Blue or anything like that. We are crowdfunded. We are carried by you, the listeners, which is why we say you are the resistance, because without you, this is nothing. So if you like the broadcast, you like what you hear, you like the ideas that we share, by all means, engage in the conversation. Because this is as much about you as it is about me or any other host on these shows. And by all means, share the live feed. Hit like and subscribe and that stupid little notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on X, YouTube, and Rumble at RealTWBRN. And be sure to check out our online store for tons of cool merchandise. We have the TWBRN banner shirts. We have the Flower of Life shirts. The Charlie Kirk, The Truth is Louder Than Bullets merchandise in memory of the late Charlie Kirk. And so much more to come. The No Kings, No Strings merchandise. There's a lot of fun stuff there and more to come. And we're looking at a new online store. We're actually going to be transferring over to a different store, offering the same merchandise, but better quality and at a much lower rate, because we want to give you the best products at the best possible price. We don't want you paying out the ass, especially if it's crap, like something from Cafe Press or something like that. You know, I got a lot of flack from a lot of people about Cafe Press. Like, don't do Cafe Press. Don't do Cafe Press. And I'm like, why? Like, well, this and that. You know, apparently there's a lot of problems with a lot of companies like that. And You'll see the company we're going with in a few days, hopefully sooner rather than later. Got to get that done tonight, hopefully. And at which point, all the same merchandise you've come to know and love, and so much more to come. And again, at better quality and far cheaper than what companies like Cafe Press and Spring have been charging. So again, we want to give you the best possible price, the best quality, the best prices. And we want to provide you with good conversation pieces. Because if you go out wearing a t-shirt that has this logo on it, people are going to be going, what's that? What's the Worldwide Resistance Network? What's TWPRN? And at which point you can go, oh, well, they're this political podcast group and they do this and they talk about this. And you can just segue that into any conversation you want and have any sort of conversation that you want that would otherwise be off limits and would be considered forcing your ideologies. Because with merchandise like this, it prompts them to ask the question. And at which point, the floodgates are open and you can take it any which direction you want without getting any flack for, oh, you're pushing your ideology on me. I'm going to suck a fart out of my ass. But yeah, go ahead, check out the online store. And as soon as we have the new store up, we'll get the links posted for that. And in the meantime, any orders that have already been made through the existing online store will be honored, will be shipped out. No worries there. And you should be able to get you should have your orders in plenty of time for Christmas. But that out of the way. Somebody messaged me. Uh-oh. Did I do something? Nope, that has nothing to do with me. I thought maybe it might have been one of my buddies telling me that they couldn't hear me on the mic. Because I have friends of mine that tune into the show. But today's episode of TinMan TV, we're going to talk about the Orange Man. Yep. We're going to talk a lot about the Orange Man. Donald Trump. Trumpy. How many times do we hear it that he's a fascist? He's trying to be a king. Everything he's doing is illegal, blah, blah, blah. And it's just ridiculous. The thing is, most of the stuff that's being bitched about is just bullshit. And I'm sorry to say this, because I love my brothers and sisters on the left, but most of what is being propagated is just plain bullshit. So much so that even my cat just ran across the house. She didn't want to hear it. In case you're wondering what that noise was. But yeah, most of it's just bullshit. The bitching about ICE. Oh, ICE is illegal. ICE has been in existence for 23 years. Bush Jr. implemented ICE in 2002 while he was president of the United States. Not illegal. Okay, deportation has been a factor since before I was born. I'm 41, nearly 42 years old. Okay? It's not illegal to deport people here who are here illegally, regardless of what country they are from. Now, you can argue the methods in which they're being deported and where they're being deported to and all of that. But inevitably, that goes to the courts. And you can argue bias in the courts all you want. But how many district and federal judges on the Democratic side have been blocking Trump only to be countermanded by people even on their own side saying, no, he's not doing anything illegal? I mean, you even have the issue with the Seditious Six and their little commercial telling the military to not obey illegal orders, but can't cite any illegal orders. Okay? You can't even insinuate that he might give an illegal order. Okay? Because that just opens up a whole other can of worms. Like there's so many problems with that. And even people on the left are going, what? I mean, so much bullshit. The National Guard thing. You want to say that? It's illegal, but every president since I've been alive has utilized the National Guard. George Bush Sr. utilized the National Guard in Los Angeles during the LA riots. Okay? And so you can't argue that that's a violation of posse comitatus, because the National Guard was created to defend American soil on American soil. You deploy to the National Guard when there's civil unrest, when there's high probability of tensions, when there's a national emergency, such as, bad weather, a tornado, a hurricane, whatever. Okay, these are the people you deploy. So you can't argue that it's illegal. And I'll get more to that in a minute. But the whole premise is that he's a fascist. And you really got to think about it. Like, what the hell is a fascist? If you're being totally fucking honest here. I mean, camera share screen. I want to show you an article that I found on Facebook earlier. It actually coincides with the point that I'm trying to illustrate here. And I'm going to read that off to you. Okay, the definition of fascism was rewritten. Article by Todd Chase. And apparently I have no control over my thing here. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today. Okay, one of the biggest lies liberals repeat is that fascism was born in Italy and nothing else need be said. They cling to that as if it settles the argument. But the real issue is not when fascism first appeared. The real issue is when the definition was quietly changed after the war to hide the truth and redirect blame. Before the late 1940s, political science texts were clear fascism was a collective system when the state controlled the economy, the culture, and the individual. It was built on central power, national unity, and the suppression of personal freedoms for the so-called greater good. Writers like Lawrence Dennis spelled it out years before Mussolini became a talking point. Anyone reading books printed before the war can see that fascism lived in the same family as socialism and communism. It was another face of the same authoritarian coin. Then the war ended and the academic world panicked. A lot of intellectuals had spent years praising centralized planning, state power, and heavily handed government. The similarities between their own ideas and the systems America had just defeated were too uncomfortable to ignore. So rather than confront the truth, they rewrote it. The definition was rebuilt in universities and publishing houses during the late 1940s and early 1950s. Fascism was no longer a left-leaning authoritarian model. It was magically transformed into a right-wing condition of the mind. Books like The Authoritarian Personality did most of the heavy lifting. Instead of describing fascism as a system of government, they recast it as a psychological problem found in conservative people. Overnight, the conversation shifted away from structure and into personality traits. It was a brilliant trick by redefining the word. They erased the overlap between fascism and authoritarian left and shoved the entire stain onto the right. It was not an evolution of language, it was a political rewrite. It created a shield for progressive movement and keeping the public from noticing how similar their ideas were to the system America fought against. Again, things that are really coming out since the Hitler speeches had been translated by AI. But getting back to the article, and it pushed the blame onto conservatives who had never supported state control or collective power in the first place. It was propaganda from the top to the bottom. It hid the authoritarianism of the progressive left and redirected the spotlight onto the conservative right. It followed the same pattern the progressive movement had repeated for more than a century, accused others of what you are doing, rewrite history, rebrand the truth, and hope no one ever calls you on it. Well, now, it sounds a lot like what the left has been doing to the right as of late. But if you look at the original definitions of fascism, it was things like suppression of free speech, like what you've seen on Facebook, especially during the Biden administration and the later years of the Trump administration. Cancel culture, demonetization, booting people off of social media platforms, and banning accounts for sharing a difference in political views or even discussing and addressing the official narrative of COVID-19 and the vaccines and all the stuff that was coming out about that. So many people, including prominent doctors, got deplatformed and silenced. You have people trying to kill the President Trump. He's had, 3 hits on his life already? Fascism, especially in the early days, was very prominent in either murdering or imprisoning their political detractors, and both of which the Democratic Party has been guilty of, and a great many other things. But yet we sit there and argue that Trump is a fascist and is trying to be king, even though there's been no evidence of that. Now, you can argue that Donald Trump is a globalist pawn pushing the globalist agenda forward, especially considering he's financially indebted to the Rothschild banks who have bailed him out how many fucking times? Yeah, we're not defending Trump today. We're actually going to go into some of the meat and potatoes as to where Trump is boo-booing. Okay, Trump? Hey, this is your notice, buddy. Hey, pay attention, because we're going to point out where you're dropping the ball, where you boo-booed. Okay? Now, one of the biggest problems that the Orange Man has is that the Orange Man has a very big mouth. Talks a lot of shit, especially on Democrats. Not just the Democrat elect, but Democratic voters. And that's not good bueno. Okay? Instead, he needs to look at this and address this as such. Instead of running his mouth, he needs to go, okay, Democratic voters, we don't like each other. I can accept that. But what we need to accept is that I am the President of the United States. You are American citizens. And as President of the United States, what can I do for you, the Democratic voters, apart from the bullshit? What are the real issues that you care about? What are the things that are affecting you and your family directly? What are these things, whether it be high costs because you live in places like California, price, much of which is price gouging, government corruption, inflation, job availability, whatever the case may be, what is it that is within the power of the presidency that I, Mr. Trump, can do to make your life better? What can I do with the power that has been invested in me to make your life better? What issues can I address that would make life easier for you and your family? Apart from the bullshit. Put the bullshit aside. What do you as an individual care about? What are the things that are directly affecting you that the presidency can address and fix? Okay, that's how Trump needs to address it. He needs to address the Democratic voters and go, okay, look, I'm here. Let's make the best of this. What can I do to help? That's it. You don't have to you can just sit there and say, look, you don't have to like me, but I'm here. What can I do to help? Dude, that would go so far. That would go so damn far. And, and it's not just talking shit on the voters. It's talking shit on the political structure as well. It's like Joe Biden, for instance. Joe Biden isn't within his right mind, okay? He's been checked out upstairs probably the majority of the presidency, which is why they did the auto pen thing. But all you do is sit there and talk shit on corrupt Joe Biden, sleepy Joe Biden. It's like, dude, he's an old man whose brain checked out before the 2020 election. Okay, you're talking shit on Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, pretty much. Okay, you might as well be talking to a corpse. I mean, he's intellectually checked out. The guy can't even defend himself, let alone run a country. And you want to sit there and talk shit on him. I mean, that's pretty fucking petty. Okay, that's not winning you any fucking points, dude. Okay, this isn't WWE. Okay, you're not The Rock. You're not cutting a fucking shit-talking promo. Okay? This isn't WWE. Stop talking like you're cutting a promo and building up to some main event. Because you're just making yourself look bad, and it feeds into the narrative that you're a globalist fucking pawn that's just fucking stalling till the fucking main event, which many like Alex Jones would argue is the John Podesta Civil War plan. Okay? You need to start, if there is criminal activity within the Democratic Party or even in the Republican Party, you need to come out, call it for what it is, address it for what it is, and make the arrests. Okay? You got Gavin Newsom burnt down the fucking Palisades. No arrests. You've got the people involved in the auto pen scandal, which was criminal as fuck. No arrests, no indictments, no nothing. Okay, you've got all the election meddling still under investigation, but still no arrests. You talk about George Soros, no arrests. From low-level politicians on up to the fucking Rothschilds and Rockefellers and the rest of the 13 families. No arrests, no indictments, no even calling it what it is. Okay, you talk about the Seditious Six, but you don't go into the details that it goes back, that it's all correlated to the John Podesta plan, which is treasonous insurrection. Okay? Just say it. This is the John Podesta plan. These are the people that are involved who are going to make the arrests based on these facts. We're going to seize their assets. We're going to we're going to arrest them. We're going to have a military tribunal and arrest them. Okay? The same with the National Guard thing. A lot of people bitch about the National Guard, even though it's lawful. It wasn't necessarily the right move. Bad Trumpy. Okay, you're making yourself look like a fucking dictator. Okay, if you don't want to look like a dictator and you don't want to look like you're trying to fucking be King Trump and perpetuate that notion, then stop doing dumb shit like this. Okay? Instead of deploying the National Guard and all that nonsense, because Soros-appointed judges are releasing these people back into the civilian populace and never trying them. Okay, that's a little thing called obstruction of justice and political bias and interfering with the courts. Okay, by law, under those dynamics, those attorneys and even the judges involved can be removed and even prosecuted, but you don't do jack shit about it. You don't say jack fucking shit about it. And somebody left a comment and I did not see it. Okay, Lauren R4. More than 20 million Americans' health insurance premiums are going to skyrocket in these next few months. It would be hard to trick them into believing it's Democrats' fault and not Trump's. Well, here's the thing about that, honey. The Democratic caucus was the one that came up with the Affordable Care Act in the first place. Obama came up with it. He said to Congress, you cannot read this bill until you pass it. And when they passed it, they found that it had all these problems in it, which shot insurance premiums through the roof. And for the past several decades, since its implementation, so what, 15 years? They've used subsidiaries to keep insurance premiums low. It's been government, you pretty much just throwing money into the fire, putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. But no president, including Trump, during his 2016 to 2020, and now during his current administration, has put forth no effort to draft a replacement to the Affordable Care Act. Now, there are talks and spitballing ideas, but at the end of the day, you can argue that the Trump administration during his first term and during this term has not done anything to either amend the Affordable Care Act to lower insurance premiums and all the problems it had, or to draft something completely new. So again, bad Trumpy. And Lauren, I do thank you for your comment there. And that was something that I hadn't even thought to bring up. I brought it up in the past, but it is worth mentioning. This is an issue that the American people do care about, especially those on the left, and is something that is within presidential authority to address and remedy. By all means. So by all means, remedy the situation. Okay, that is definitely a very important point. But again, getting back to a lot of the, stalling in terms of any arrests on corrupt politicians, whether they be Republican or Democrat, all we hear is a bunch of talking, and we see indictments that are just getting thrown out, mainly because of political bias judges. Again, judges that could be removed because they're displaying political bias in what is supposed to be an impartial system. Okay, the courts are supposed to be impartial, unbiased. So if your actions are politically motivated, that's political bias, and that's grounds for removal and even criminal prosecution. But yet nothing is getting done. And it's not just on that point that it's not getting done, you have issues with Trump not removing the people who should be getting these things done, like Pam Bondi, and Todd Blanche. Okay? You had Kennedy, who put forth the legislation to get fluoride out of the water, and Spam Bundy went in and blocked it. Are you going to sit there, again, bad Trumpy on this one? You dropped the ball, homie. How are you going to sit there and go and watch your Attorney General, Pam Bondi, block your health secretary in what he's trying to do and do nothing? And the same with Todd Blanche. I get you like Todd Blanche. He helped you out during the Mar-a-Lago thing. But everything else, he's cock-blocked you on. Everything else you've been trying to do and all these prosecutions, he's dropped the ball and cock-blocked you. He's got, if you're going out of a poll of 99 or 100, he's got 99 fuck-ups and 1 win. Okay? He's not doing a very good job here, okay? Great for his 1 win. But everything else, he's cock blocking. He's throwing the fight. He's taking a dive. He's throwing the fight. Okay, he may be a good attorney. He may be a good fighter. But he's throwing the fight. Okay? And at which point, stop baiting your money on the guy who keeps throwing the fucking fight, dumbass. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, okay? But if you're going to be the president of the United States, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire and tell you where you're fucking up. I'm calling balls and strikes here. And unlike Alex Jones, who has to be somewhat political biased because it's his neck in a noose, I ain't got no horse in this race, okay? I'm just your average American going, hey, I want the globalist regime toppled over. And you're not even addressing it. You're not addressing the John Podesta plan. You're not addressing this as a globalist you're not addressing the globalist new world order agenda and the players and how it works. You know how it fucking works. You've been a part of it to one degree or another. You may not be in the upper echelons, but you've sat down with Jones enough. He talks about this shit all day long. I'm not saying that what he's saying is wrong. Okay? Yeah, he may be political bias and showing you some favoritism, Trump. But what he talks about in terms of the globalist New World Order agenda and all the players and their playbook and all of that, he talks about it. You are read in on what the fuck's up. And he's even been telling you, and I am going to tell you on behalf of the American people, be a straight shooter. Get on TV and lay out the cards. Say, this is what this is. This is the John Podesta plan. This is the New World Order agenda. This is the end of the world bullshit. Okay? You need to talk about it. You need to be open and honest with it. You need to stop being like JFK and Michael Jackson and everybody else who would talk about it, but be all fucking cryptic and secretive about it and mysterious about it. Just come out with it. Turn the spotlight on the fucking wall and show what's on the fucking wall, okay? Show the writing on the wall, turn the spotlight on the wall, and let's see the writing on the wall. Cut the shit. If you are not part of the globalist cabal, then cut the shit and turn the spotlight on the wall and let's see the writing on the wall. Just say it for what it is. This is the John Podesta plan. This is the New World Order agenda. This is this. This is how it all fucking works. Lay out the cards, man. Quit beating around the bush. Quit trying to be cryptic. Fuck off with that shit, bro. Hey. And it's not just that. You're leaning into this with your support of Israel. And I'm not saying that we should annex Israel or not be allies with Israel, but stop funding their shit. Okay, if they want to play Billy Badass in the sand, that's their own fucking sandbox. They don't need to be in our fucking sandbox. They don't need to be in our fucking piggy bank. We don't need to be acting like Israel's fucking sugar daddy. Okay, you can have a good alliance without trying to fucking buy somebody's affection. Okay, you're pretty much a simp for Israel. Okay, stop being a fucking simp, bro. Okay, stop trying to buy Israel's love by funding all their bullshit and funding all of Netanyahu's bullshit. Okay, Netanyahu is a fucking war criminal. He needs to go to jail. Okay, and it doesn't need to, and Israel does not need to go back to the Rothschilds and so forth. Okay, we need a complete turnaround from the globalist agenda on this. Okay, Israel's got its own agenda, but it's still kind of globalist here. Okay, even if they're not in bed with the Rothschilds and told the Rothschilds to go fuck themselves, they're still kind of part of the globalist agenda and doing that thing in destabilization. Okay, you need to look at this and take steps to get us out of that fucking mess. If they want to destroy themselves, that is their prerogative. But they don't need to be blowing holes in our goddamn ship. Okay? Stop being Israel's bitch. Stop being a fucking simp for Israel, bro. Okay, you can have an alliance with a country without having to be a simp and a fucking sugar daddy for them. Okay? Quit being a bitch. Okay, and again, it goes back to, biblical prophecy, whether you're Christian or not, you sit there and you meddle in these affairs and whatnot, and lend financial support to the rebuilding of the third temple, which is end of world prophecy shit. And then you have that guy in Texas who raised the red heifers specifically for the sacrifice. Trump and these people all saying they're fucking Christians. Did you not read the fucking book of Revelations? Like, what in the unholy mother of fuck, dude? Okay, red heifer sacrifice, rebuilding of the third temple. And that's where the Antichrist sits. Okay, I'm not opposed to peace in the Middle East or anything like that. But for fuck's sake, man, don't bring about the end of the goddamn world again. And, that leads me into the AI thing. We can put a global ban on AI like we did cloning. Granted, there's going to be some people who do it, at which point you can have international accords that make it a criminal offense, and anybody who does it is going to get bent over the knee and spanked with a fucking paddle. Okay? You don't have to do this whole, we got to beat China to it, just like we did with Russia in the arms race. Oh, we got to beat Russia in the space. Oh, we got to beat Russia in the arms race. Oh, we got to beat China in the human replacement with AI integration and development. Stop trying to bring about the end of the world, asshole. Fuck. I want to have you back because you're the president of the United States and you're the one person in power that can actually effectively make some change here. Stop stalling. Stop beating around the bush. Stop acting like this is WWE and stop trying to bring about the end of the world, asshole. Fuck. Okay. What's my next point? Okay, now, let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit to your attorney generals, Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche. Why are these people still around? Okay, again, Todd Blanche has dropped the ball far more than he's fucking won for you. Okay, he's thrown the fight more than he's won one fight and thrown the rest of the fights. Okay, why is he still around? Okay? Why, after all the things Pam Bondi did, is she still around? The American people don't want fluoride in their water. Fluoride in the water is bad. It's toxic. It's bad. We want it out of the water. Why did you allow Pam Bondi to get away with blocking Kennedy to get the fluoride out of the fucking water? Okay, I get it. She's pretty little eye candy. You like having your eye candy around. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Okay, if you want to have your own little harem in your bedroom, whatever. Nobody fucking cares. Okay, that's your business. But don't put the eye candy in positions of power when you're trying to get shit done, because she ain't getting shit done, bro. She's not getting shit done. Yeah, she's beautiful little eye candy. Okay, take her to, take a fucking picture and call it a fucking day. Okay, get her the fuck gone. She's not doing a good job. Get her gone. Okay, take a picture, have your eye candy, whatever. Just don't put them in positions of power. Okay, we need people who can get shit done. We don't need eye candy. If you want to have your eye candy over here. Keep it out of over here where we're trying to get shit done, dummy. Fuck. Okay? Same with Tom Blanche. He may not be eye candy, but again, he's throwing every fucking fight except for one. Get him the fuck on and get somebody in there who's actually going to be on your side and not throw the fucking fight. Fuck, dude. Use your fucking brain. You're supposed to be a smart businessman. Okay? You can't see when somebody who's standing right in front of you is fucking you in the ass and doesn't even have the common courtesy to give you a reach around? Come on, dude. And the list goes on and on. How many people you got around you who are feeding you bad information? That is evidently bad information. Okay, you're a fan of Coke. You're a fan of Coca-Cola. Okay, if you're sitting there drinking a fucking Coke and you got people around you saying, that's not Coke, that's chocolate milk. Okay, obviously these are not the kind of people you want around you. And the fact that you're not getting rid of these people when you have the power to do so because they're a part of your cabinet, then you are alluding to the fact that you are a contributing factor to this problem and are just trying to stall for the globalist agenda. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Ugh. Yeah, we've already covered that criminal Democrats thing. Removing the roadblocks in the administration. Okay, we pretty much covered everything. Okay. Again, so many things that you should have done right that you didn't. Okay, there are things that you should be doing that you're not doing, and then some things that you are doing, like running your mouth instead of getting shit done. It's like the news thing, for instance. Okay, you already know that's a CIA co-op that has been allowed since the end of the Obama administration, since I forget the legislation that he repealed and that he changed, but has allowed for the media and this government psyop. It's the CIA psyop through the media. The media being used by the CIA as a fucking psyop. Okay, we already know what this is. But again, you're not calling it for what it is, and you're just going, oh, fake news, fake news, fake news. Shut up with this fake news bullshit and do something about it. Fuck, you already know the CIA is behind it. Do something about it. While you got the fucking congressional power seats to fucking help you do it. Fuck, dude. What are you stalling for, okay? It's like sticking your fucking pecker in a toaster. Why are you doing it? Why? Why would you do this? Fucking hey, dude. Make my brain hurt. And, again, the last thing I can really address, the Epstein thing. A lot of people want to harp on that, especially Democrats, but they harp on the wrong shit. They're harping on the wrong fucking shit. It's like, oh, Trump's in the Epstein files because Epstein talked about him in an email in like 2012, 2011. Yeah. After Trump had kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, and the person whose name you blotted out in that email was not some new person. It was the girl he was trying to fuck, that Epstein was trying to recruit at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump caught it and kicked Epstein out. Okay, and then went to the FBI and said, hey, this is what Epstein's doing. Now, that's what they were talking about in those emails. Okay? Why are you going to fucking try to harp on that? You just make yourselves look like asses. Okay? I mean, the Democratic Party wants to have credibility. I would love to have a Democratic Party that would go back to, having some sort of credibility. Cut the bullshit. Okay? Here's your big grievance. It's not that he was mentioned in an email because Epstein was pissed off at him. Okay? It was Trump moving to release the Epstein files, and then Pam Bondi, his little eye candy, going, oh, well, you're in the Epstein files. And so he shuts it down and implicates himself in the cover-up. Okay, that's your fucking bullet point right there. But hardly nobody on the Democratic side talks about it. You want to talk about these bullshit-ass emails where Trump really dropped the ball, was implicating himself in the cover-up of these files. When he should have, when Pam Bondi came to him and said, hey, you're in the Epstein files, he should have just gone, I know, I'm not surprised. Release everything. I've got nothing to fucking hide. Release it. I've got nothing to hide. Melania's got nothing to hide. And if there's stuff that's been removed, find where it went and go get it, bitch. Okay? That's what he should have fucking done. Hey, Longhorn Steakhouse approves of the pod. Okay. Thank you. I guess. Glad to see you tuning in, Brady. How you doing today? Hope the move's going good for you, brother. Hope this podcast is keeping you entertained. But yeah, the Epstein files. He should have just come out with it and sent Pam Bondi to go find the rest of it and track it down, if it could be tracked down. Granted, it's probably, or most of it's already probably been either destroyed or is in the hands of the Mossad. But I'm sure that there are some traces of some things that could really bring this case to a head and see to it that criminal prosecutions are brought forth. Hell, I mean, you still got plenty of witnesses that are still alive. What was it? Just one witness was unalived? You still got plenty more witnesses. Okay, get them on record and move forward with criminal prosecutions. Even if they don't get to testify in front of a jury, if you get them under oath and can get a recorded testimony under oath, that's equally as good. Okay? Yeah, they may wind up being unalived during the process of these criminal proceedings, to prevent them from testifying. But if you have the testimonies recorded beforehand, then great. That's what Trump should be doing. And that's what he should have done to begin with. He should have said, release everything and get everybody's testimony on record. That's what he should have done. He shouldn't have been trying to fucking go, oh, well, and I don't want to hurt my friends that are part of the Rothschild banking clan that bailed me out of all my stupid bad choices. Okay? If you're for the American people, be for the American people and stop protecting the globalists and other criminal entities. And stop protecting the people and not firing the people who are obstructing you where you are actually trying to get shit done, dude. Like, come on. Fuck. I got nothing for it, man. I got nothing for it. Fuck. Brain hurty. I don't even know where else to go with this. So, I mean, those are really the bullet points, the grievances that you could really say that you could have with Trump. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a lot more. I mean, these are just the ones that come right off the top of my head, the biggest caveats that I have with Donald Trump and his administration. But I'm going to go ahead and put the turkey in the oven. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And now I got a headache because this bullshit is just so insane. Just do what you need. Do what you know needs to get done. But again, I'm gonna put the turkey in the oven. So this has been TinMan with the Worldwide Resistance Network, bringing you another episode of TinMan TV. Again, if you would like to broadcast, hit the like, subscribe button, and the notification bell on YouTube, and follow us on X, Rumble, and YouTube at RealTWRN. You can check out our online store. That and the link to that is in the description of the video. The description is in the link. And as always, keep the conversation going. If there are any other legitimate grievances that you have regarding Donald Trump that he needs to put pressure on to be an effective president for not only Republicans but Americans across the board, post them in the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions because you are as much a part of this conversation as I am. You are part of this. So, on that note, live feed, engage in the conversation, all that fun stuff. Until next time, this is TinMan with the Worldwide Resistance Network. This podcast.